Male privilege is a myth. The next changed my mind. Chat, is male privilege a myth? It's a myth.
So you're getting very emotional.
Because this is serious.
Yes, of course it's serious.
This is serious. I'm a cis white male. I'm a male and I'm privileged. Please, someone be my girlfriend. I said the right thing.
Privileged male.
Stop
Why
it.
do you have to carry
Rape is
a
illegal.
gun to kill a male rapist when that male could just not rape in the first place?
I know.
I'm a male. I'm a cis white male. And you shouldn't do that. That's the bad thing.
No, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be
fucking great?
Yeah.
Do you know why women
Wouldn't it be
are
great
so...
if men didn't rape?
Yeah.
Who are you arguing with? It's the latest installment of Change My Mind. This time, male privilege is a myth. This is going to be fun. Hey, really quickly, want to hear from you. Which subjects, male privilege, edited segment. We can go hours, and sometimes angry leftists surround and feel safe yelling from the mob. All of a sudden, I can't get to everyone fast enough. Got it. Great. So if you had
Shout out to Steven Crowder. Big inspiration for the Woman in Podcast.
proof. The statistics of, according to the FBI. Wait, someone just booed, right?
We noted a boo. We noted a boo, and we would like to extend an invitation. Should you like to?
I'm really okay.
Beg your pardon? Well,
She could boo, but you don't want to talk. This is leftist nowadays. Just, that's wrong. Okay, why? I don't know. Goofy.
You can sit down. You can sit down afterwards, and we'll do it. I appreciate it. Yeah, you can wait your turn. What was that? Continue my bullshit. Oh, there you go. That's always a sign of an intellectual titan. But you'll get a chance at that, sir. Now, we'll come back to this gentleman in a minute. He's actually the subject of today's long-form, unedited interview. I won't bore you with many conversations because there wasn't all that much productive.
The triggered ones are the best when they get tight.
To glean from it. If you look even at our SMU interviews, the one aggressive feminist kind of took over. It was confrontational, but all of the others were really productive. Every other Change My Mind we've ever done has been pretty productive.
We don't want to watch that. I want to see people get mad.
But I noticed when discussing the idea of male privilege, or any privilege for that matter, on campus, not only was pretty much everyone hostile off the bat, but not a...
And before we get started, chat, remember, Creativity Kit just dropped, link in description. Stop scrolling, start monetizing. I'm going to teach you all the ways to become an online entrepreneur and how to make videos. That's all I know how to do, bro. I'm dumb as hell. I've just been making videos for 9 years, and now I want to teach you. Website's live. The haters took it down, but it's back up.
Single person provided any substantive argument. Every single point, without fail, was anecdotal. What rights are afforded in
How old is she? She's in college?
2018 to men exclusively that aren't afforded to women?
I feel your male privilege is a myth. I feel like...
Because this is serious.
Yes, of course it's serious.
I'm a white privileged male.
I'm a white privileged male. You're right, chat. That's the male version of...
Chose it, of course, but I mean, the reason why I chose it then like shapes other opinions.
My friend
give me names.
raped within the first 2 weeks of coming to the school as a freshman.
This also might be why, despite having a permit, the gender studies professors who, along with their students, teach the injustice of police brutality inherently within the system, called the police on us simply for disagreeing. Quick, bring in the patriarchy. So we weren't really able to finish our conversations in the first place, and at this point, when everything was anecdotal, I kind of just have to pick one. Enter this guy, the person you saw before, who was yelling and cussing at me.
Oh my God!
Beforehand, who also stayed to yell and cuss at students afterward.
Like, I've never heard of
You don't see it?
No, I don't.
You're not a white girl, bro. You're not a girl. Hey! Raise your hand if you know someone's been raped on this campus.
Yes. Raise your hand if you think rape is a horrible thing.
Wow! You agree?
Watch and make your own decisions. No, come up and debunk my bullshit.
All right, you're bullshit.
It's always a great way to start a civil conversation. What's your name, sir?
Gregory.
Gregory.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So why the anger and
So-
profanity? That was such a
Anger and
civil
profanity. No, let
conversation.
me answer your question. So anger and profanity, because this is an extremely sensitive topic.
And I'm a white male.
And I think it's almost ironic you come like such a university that has such a problem with male privilege. And I know you guys, the last conversation was a lot about racial things, and you wanted to talk about laws, but I want to talk about the practicality. So practically, you know, I don't have a car here, so sometimes I like to go down, like I go to yoga. When I walk back,
He goes to yoga.
Bomboka!
nights I have my headphones on, I have like a hoodie on, so I'm not aware of my
Doesn't he look like the vampire from the Twilight movies?
surroundings, and I feel perfectly comfortable doing that. I wasn't really conscientious of that my entire life until about a year ago. I was on the phone with my friend, and she said that she needed to get her textbook from her car, and it was like probably 11:30 at night, and she just wouldn't do it because she didn't feel comfortable. She didn't feel safe.
She didn't feel safe, but I'm a white male.
Sure.
And so that's something that's inherent as a male, biologically
As a white male.
larger, and just like women, that's an inherent privilege.
Inherent privilege as a
Inherent
male.
privilege where
A
I can
biological
do that.
privilege.
Biologically, you're going to be larger, taller, and you can overpower a woman. And for the most part,
Are you implying that men are stronger than women?
So you're saying that male, female is biological. First off, that's a premise.
I'm
that's
saying
important
there's
to set.
both biological and societal, and
Societal.
there's also systemic.
Systemic societal.
Systemic's going to be where it's just ingrained in a society.
Okay.
Society.
So,
So could you,
That's all they got. Leftists just got the word society and they think they're smart.
for example, explain to me what the difference would be between a biological male versus a systemic male, to use your words.
I did not say there's a difference between a biological male and systemic male. I'm talking about systemic male privilege and biological
Okay,
male
well, you said
privilege.
What? What?
Wrong.
you said
Male-
biologically men are
biological-
bigger and stronger, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we agree on the
Okay,
premise
so
that
let me clarify for you.
you're
Biologically, males have privilege because they are larger. Because of that, they have a certain safety afforded to them where they can go out and then they don't have to worry about.
This is what you sound like when you go to college too much, man.
You had a horrible comparison earlier about how males are more vulnerable to being like burglarized or whatever your thing was.
No, I didn't. That wasn't what I said.
Okay, what did you say? They're more
I said-
likely to be like experience violence.
Yeah,
than
okay.
women.
He guy's already triggered, bro. This is gonna end in him yelling.
Can I answer?
And
No,
they're not by the opposite
Can I-
gender, though.
Can I answer?
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, they're statistically more likely to be victims of violent crime across the board.
By which gender?
No, you just said. Do you mean gender, biologically, or systemically?
What?
What?
Halfway.
You just said there were
What is a
differences between
systemic gender?
biological,
You just said
societal, and systemic. I want to make sure we're talking about
systemic male
yeah,
privilege.
because
You're forgetting the privilege.
I'm forgetting the systemic.
What the hell is the difference between a systemic male and systemic male privilege?
You just said
Let's
what's the difference between
assume-
a biological
College is a scam, yo. Look how dumb they sound.
gender and systemic gender.
Okay,
There's
well,
no
okay,
such
domestic-
thing as a systemic gender. Difference is
Okay,
that I'm
you-
making
okay, hold on a
between
second.
biological gender, privilege. Don't forget the privilege. It's very important.
Yeah, it's very important to remember the privilege. Yeah. Okay. Violent crime, many of them would be committed by men at large. Domestic violence is very comparable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yeah, domestic violence would be committed on the same rate from biological women to men as men to
Make the
women.
presumption that men
Yeah, you're saying bisexual Ben Affleck? Like, let's hear him talk.
who are more like vulnerable to violence is by other men.
Statistically, having more being the victim of violent crime, yes. Statistically, also being the victim of domestic
would you agree
abuse.
that those victims, those male victims, are mostly being victimized by other men?
Sure, let's go with it. Yeah.
Sure. You think that's unlikely?
No, I didn't say it's unlikely. Let's
Okay.
go with that.
Okay. Well, let's.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. And then so for women, they don't have that biologically. We're still on the biological part. Is
Right.
When they're smaller, when they can be overpowered more easily, they don't have the same privilege. When they can't go running by themselves.
Hold on a second.
late
Hold on a second.
at-
Just
let me
let me
finish
know.
my
Hold on a second.
sentence.
You've never let
I'm
me
talking
finish my
about the
one sentence. And you
practicality.
came in cussing at me, so I'm going to finish my sentence. And if you want to listen,
He's getting heated. He's getting heated. Come on, white male.
right? If you don't have to. What I'm talking about here is privilege. I do not see it as a privilege having a violent crime committed against you at a multiple rate likelihood,
By other males.
whether
We're
it
talking
is
about
committed
gender
by a male, but the
differences.
man who is getting
Gender
violently
differences.
assaulted, I do not believe is more privileged than the woman who isn't. And statistically, that's the likelihood. It's
I
not a
believe it is because
Chat, you're saying he looks like Alpha Morgs?
biologically, that male who's being assaulted by another male has a better chance of defending themselves than a female.
Bro, he thinks he's smart because he's like putting his hand down. Arthur said, be careful, Seeko. Listening to the bots can give you too much brain. Nope, we're just gonna laugh at him. That's how you dodge the cancer.
Male who is being assaulted by a male. And that's the gender difference. We're going to talk about male privilege.
Sure.
We have to talk
Why are you slapping the table like you're making a fucking coherent point? You're not saying nothing.
about the influence on the opposite gender. I don't give a about when you're talking about like male on male crime.
Really? I do.
This is not what this is about. If
It
you want
is.
to talk
Slapping the table because I'm a white male.
about that,
Sure it
talk
is.
about crime. Let's talk about crime. We're talking about male privilege.
Yes.
And I'm bringing up the biological inherent differences between the genders.
I agree on that. I
He thinks this is gonna get him laid.
agree that biology
Women
determines sex and gender. Yeah.
Are less likely and less capable of defending themselves against the opposite gender.
Sure.
Through biological.
No, listen, I agree. That's why
Oh
I'm
my
a huge
God, dude, like it's been 8 minutes. What are you talking about?
supporter of women concealing and carrying.
Okay, that's a completely different subject.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's about safety, stupid.
Huh? No, it's not. It's not at
Okay,
all.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a different subject because women,
I don't want.
women.
You know, the
and-
point is, you're trying to set the premise as though, for some reason,
I'm
women
saying
are less
this is
likely.
Not,
Can
okay,
I
let me
respond?
say
Can I
two
respond?
things. 2 seconds. This is not about male on male crime, and this is not about access to firearms right now. I want to talk about the practical livelihood or existence of white.
We
of
want to
male
talk about
privilege.
systemic privilege. We want to
That's
talk about
true,
systemic
that's
privilege,
true.
and
Let's get away from the
no, hold on a
biological.
second. You said 2 seconds. That was about 18. Okay,
ahead.
I'm going to speak
Okay,
now, and
good
I'm
for
not
you.
going to cuss at you. So the point is, we are talking about systemic privilege. No one at any point, I am still open to it, anyone can sit down, has given me any example of a right afforded to a man, not afforded to a woman. That's what we're really talking about with systemic privilege. Now we've just acknowledged, both of us, that men are statistically much more likely to be the victim of a violent crime. We're
Other men.
statistically much more likely to die at the
men.
workplace. Okay? Now, this is something that matters to me and perhaps not to you, and then that's okay, we can disagree.
Because he's in a college woke bubble.
I don't believe that the man who is 70, 80% more likely to have a violent crime committed against him is privileged, whether it's committed by another man or not. Now, I would agree, maybe we could find common ground in here. What I'm talking about is I don't want to see women victimized. As a matter of fact, most men don't. And the only way a woman would be able to defend herself against a violent crime, though statistically far less likely than that of it occurring with a man, would be a mechanical advantage in a firearm. Would you not agree?
Yeah, sure. It's sure. Yeah, but this is not about guns.
No, it is.
No.
It's
Thanks,
about
Officer
protecting
It's not
women,
about
and
guns.
it's about keeping women.
It's not about guns and I'm about to get mad. This is about women. I'm a white male.
from being victimized.
Okay, cool. That's. But men have also. But you want to talk about male privilege, so we're talking about
Slapping the table.
differences between the genders. You want to talk about firearms real quick? Let's end that conversation with this. Men
That's an
and women do not have a
equalizer.
different accessibility to firearms.
No, they don't.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's a great thing.
This has nothing to
No,
do
it
with
has
gender
no-
privileges.
There you go. There's no privilege there
What are
as
you
far as
talking
access to
about
firearms.
firearms?
What I'm talking about is wanting to have fewer. Let me boil it down in a way that maybe might be reductive. I would like to read far more headlines, okay, that say rapists.
This is him. This is the cartoon. This is what he thinks is going to happen after saying male privilege.
Shot dead in a ditch by a woman with a .38 special than woman raped on campus because of some concealed carry law.
Okay.
Okay, so
would
I don't
like to
want
see a lot
female
more
victims.
headlines that have nothing to do with rapists.
I
know?
would exactly.
You know why? Why?
how do you stop
Why
it?
do you have to carry
Rape is
a
illegal.
gun to kill a male rapist when that male could just not rape in the first place?
Okay, well, you saying that doesn't change anything. I know you're slapping the table, but it's just our word's gonna our word, bro.
I know. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Thank you. Why can't men? Yeah, men just stop it. But that doesn't. You clapping on a college campus doesn't stop it, stupid. You got to do something about it. You can't change all men. Jesus Christ, bro. Yeah. Da 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 da.
That'd be fucking great. And
Yeah.
do you know why? Women
Wouldn't it
are
be great
so-
if men didn't rape?
Yeah.
Who are you arguing with? You're Don Quixote fighting windmills, man. We all agree rape
Why-
is bad.
but
You
how
think I'm
come-
here saying
how
rape
come
is
they
good?
Get away with it.
They don't get away
They don't
with
get
it.
fucking away with it.
No.
They get away with it on this motherfucking campus.
Really?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. They get away with it on this fucking campus.
Don't get away
They don't
with
get
it.
fucking away with it.
No.
You don't get away with it. Ready. Look at her. We're starting a protest, bro. They're gonna like start a chant.
No.
They get away with it on this motherfucking campus.
Really?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, they fucking do.
Okay.
My
Why are you getting so heated, bro?
My friend
Give me names.
raped within the first 2 weeks of coming to the school as a freshman. She was a fucking virgin.
As a freshman, she was as a freshman.
To Milton
horrible.
Daniel Hall.
Exactly.
You know what that motherfucker had to do? He had to move out of that hall.
But you had to move out of
That's
that hall.
about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's
so this
it.
so this was a rape.
That's
this
how
is
they deal
interesting.
with
This
it.
was a see, you're getting very emotional.
Because
okay?
this is serious.
Yes, of course it's
I'm
serious.
a white privileged male.
I'm a white privileged male, and I'm gonna stand up. Exactly.
Yeah.
I can stay in my my little bubble of TCU.
Exactly.
I don't have to turn my back. I don't have to worry about my job, my income or anything like that. I don't have to worry about getting raped.
Well, you should.
My friends do.
You should worry. You should worry about your
No,
income.
'cause-
You should worry about communicating
No,
with
I'm
others.
saying I don't have to worry
Let
about
me finish
it
my
because
phrase.
it is
Exactly.
not something
You
that is
should
very
worry
vulnerable
about
for me.
you should worry about communicating with adults. You should worry about treating other people respectfully because this will affect your future employment opportunities. You first came in here and talked about how you put on your hoodie, your headphones, you don't even look around you in the periphery. That's dumb. That's stupid. You should worry about your safety.
Yeah, but you're on a college bubble campus, bro, with a bunch of woke. Alright, sorry.
That's fundamentally unintelligent. White, black, yellow, red, I don't care. It's not smart to do. It's also not smart to come in and say we should get men to stop raping as though that's going to help women.
You're my father, but
I'm
this
not
is the
your
reason
father.
why.
I'm not your father.
I
But
would
you come in here as though
I
you're going to
would
school
not-
somebody and cuss and yell and say you need to stop
No,
rapists.
I don't
Everyone
think
here
I'm
wants
gonna
to
school you.
stop
I don't think I'm gonna
rapists.
school you. I think
Chat, should I make that a soundbite on the soundboard? Boom. Exactly.
Everyone here wants to stop rapists, okay?
You see the fucking the college conservatives showing up like these are Steven Crowder's fanboys right here. Yeah, right wing.
The point is, this kind of doublespeak and this kind of rhetoric and
These guys all watch Ben Shapiro right here. I swear to
these
God.
kinds of false platitudes don't help women. Do you know what you're doing? You're victimizing actual victims of rape. There is no 1 in 5 rape statistic. When you say men get away with it, we allow men to get off scot-free
You
with
don't.
rape. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true, and there's way more. Chad, how many women do you know have lied about the R word and get away with it? And then the guy gets in trouble for the rest of his life. They get kicked off the basketball team, and it's like, well, actually, I was just drunk. I didn't no, oopsie, I kind of just regretted it. Silly me. I'm sorry you got kicked off the D1 team, but I was just being silly. Shut the fuck up, man.
And you absolve people
Yeah,
of
Exactly.
personal responsibility. Leads
know
to
them.
a worse society.
I
Leads
know
to a
them.
polarized camp.
I fucking slapped the table. I'm a white male.
It leads to, God forbid, actual rape cultures like we see across the
There's
Islamic
rape
world.
culture in this campus.
Is there?
Yep.
Okay, and then what is the
100%.
rape culture?
This is the rape culture on TCU is brewed up by, first of all, having twice as many women. Has twice as many. It creates a different social dynamic. Greek life.
Twice as many women.
So how do you change it?
Let me continue that first example. My friend who was raped within their first 2 weeks of
terrible.
college here.
See how I was doing women shit like, I know a victim story and I'm angry about it, so I'm right.
Having lost her virginity to rape.
It's terrible.
The criminal
That's all I got.
who was uncharged was
Does he have a name?
pledge. I'm not gonna release
This
his
would go
name.
out to a lot of
The
people.
girl
I
did
would
not
love to
want
see him charged.
Yeah, if you don't want to get him off scot-free and you're saying they get away with it, then drop his name, stupid.
Oh, this is not mine. This is not my decision. She did not want to release his name. She doesn't want this to be a public thing.
Okay.
Don't judge her for that, so don't roll your head.
No,
Okay.
no.
Why is this guy like, bro? Oh God, bro, this is what college does.
No, I am
so let
making
me
I am judging.
Okay. Well,
Not her. I'm judging
Okay.
the decision.
You're judging her victim, so it's,
No, I'm
it's
judging
not-
the
it's none of
decision.
your
That's a bad
business,
decision
okay?
because you know what? That guy
That is a dumb decision. That's why, like, it's not, bro. It's not the culture. She should just tell the police, tell the cops. The school can't kick him out without a police report.
go forward and rape
And
another
you-
woman. So the stupid false victim status, I don't want that guy to go out and
Blame
rape
the
somebody
school
else.
then, because she informed
Blame the school because a
She
guy
informed
raped
the
her and she
school.
didn't give the name.
She didn't want to put the name out publicly because she did not want to be.
How do we
associated.
stop a rapist if we can't charge him or get a name?
Here, let me.
How
talk.
do we stop a
Let me
rapist?
talk. I'm gonna answer your question.
Okay.
Let me.
How do we
This
stop
is
that
why
rapist
she
from
made
raping
it-
again?
She made this decision. Stopping a racist would be to put him in jail.
Yes.
A racist.
To have the punishment for rape to be
Abs-
so significant, not just taking away a swimming scholarship and attendance at Stanford for that rapist, but at this school, she did not want to put out the name and make it a public thing because she did not want to be associated with directly. This is a small school. She puts out his name, her name gets out there. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want to be known as a victim. Let me finish. The school, no. She did.
Because it's kind of her fault, bro. Like, I don't want to, I mean, but okay, but then don't complain that the guy's walking around free if you don't want to go report it. Exactly!
She did want to prevent that same person or his affiliates from raping again.
Okay.
So she told the school.
Okay, so the school and police have his name, and there was a
Correct.
he was charged.
And he was he was moved out of because he lived in the same hall as her, Milton Daniel.
So you're gonna say everything, the dorm, like you're giving all the context. Just drop a name, dummy. Don't complain about the culture if you can't drop the name and go to the cops.
Move out of the hall. Both freshmen see each other for the rest of the 4
So
years.
the police were given a name of a man who forcibly raped a woman, and you're telling me they just removed him from the hall. This is the story?
When it comes to conviction, are there other things that are needed? Proof,
Yes.
exceptional things, and in the state.
That's a big one.
Proof. Oh God! To get somebody convicted, you need proof. This is the culture. Okay, commit a crime. Proof. Like it just.
Will we not agree on that?
Yeah, obviously.
Proof is important.
Obviously.
Okay.
And so, when it comes to the practicalness of this event, it is. We talked about the culture. So I'm talking.
What are you talking about right now?
Going back to the example because they were Greek, they were pledges, the rapists.
Okay.
And you want to know what his brothers did when they found out about this?
I'm guessing something bad.
Correct. Yeah. They did not go up to her and apologize and say, he's a bad egg. So and so, Greek fraternity, enter Greek words. Does not back this. We do not represent this. No, they harassed her. They said, "Do not ruin this kid's life for one dumb mistake. He was intoxicated. He was this. He wasn't thinking straight.
Sure.
He thought you were cute." Okay, that's what they did, and that's why systemic. I was a part of a fraternity here. I left because 2 members.
I left and
were put on our version of our internal Supreme Court. They were given chance after chance after chance.
This is what he says that like he doesn't know how to speak besides stuff that he's already said like a dinner conversation. He's felt vindicated. He probably said this at like the LGBTQ meeting, like and I was in the Supreme Court of my fraternity and I'm speaking like he said this shit 5 times before. That's the only thing he's capable of talking about. But whenever he deviates off the point or when he like brings up the fact that like you need proof, he's like, but obviously.
Positions of power within the TCU community to where they were subject to incoming freshmen, they were subject to other girls, and they used that power in ways where they ended up harassing these girls, sexually assaulting these girls.
That's
and
terrible.
Within their fraternity, they were given chance after chance after chance until they just became maybe inactive. Or they just they were not big enough, they were not a part of the fraternity enough to where they would shed badness in the light, and that's why I left.
Can I ask a question?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
because you went, you kind of, I think we both acknowledge you jumped from a few topics there, so I'd like to kind of zone in a couple, and then hopefully we can move forward. So you mentioned that this man raped her. The school knew about it.
That's all he said. He hasn't made any arguments. He just keeps talking about this one case and rubbing his arms and smacking the table.
Police knew about it. He was simply
What is he doing right now?
moved to another.
What is that?
House to simply move.
What are you doing? What is this,
Another
Chad?
dorm. Then you said that the Greek house knew about it.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that.
And basically was encouraging, and they harassed her. Right? Okay. Do you have any proof?
Eyewitness account. And that's probably one of the reasons why it wasn't like there was no
Believe all women.
there was no GoPros everywhere, that's how it happens. That's how it happened.
We just said proof was really important. So any
Yeah.
proof of you just gave this whole example to paint a picture of white male privilege on campus and this rape culture. Any proof?
And proof I believe
I believe all women is the proof.
and
Okay.
Proof is I believe all women.
and there was she lost
Believe all women. That's the proof. I'm a white male, and I was in a fraternity.
there's stains, there's blood. I'm sure if she wanted to call the FBI and make a big deal out of have her name and face painted everywhere, I'm sure
Okay.
Yet there isn't the existence of DNA proof.
Okay, so here's my point. We have to find some common ground and agree on some premises here. So, no proof there that you would be able to present that anyone has presented.
You may be going in the direction of assuming that she wasn't raped, and I would strongly advise you don't do that.
You may be going in this direction and doubting that all women are not truth tellers, and I would strongly advise you don't do that, or I'm gonna rub my arms right in your face. Don't make me start rubbing my arms. You don't want to go there. I'm gonna rub the shit out of my arms. I'm gonna smack the table again. Look at this.
You may be going in the direction of assuming that she wasn't raped, and I would strongly advise you don't do that.
Exactly.
I'll take it under advisement. But I do have proof that there's not a rape culture on campus.
You have proof there's no
Yeah,
rape
the statistic
culture.
is not a 1 in 5 rape. According to the FBI, it's 1 in over 1,800.
Okay.
There's not a rape culture on campus in the United States. These rapes do not occur without consequence when there's proof presented. The constant is not men getting away with rape. I'm certainly not convinced of that. I'm not convinced by your account. It sounds like a harrowing account. I feel horrible that had occurred. So you think I feel good about that?
I don't say
But my
you feel
point
good,
is,
I say don't give a f. I'm saying
well
you're
then
here.
listen.
Yeah, you think our word is good. Yeah. I strongly advise. Shut the
You can ascribe motive
You're
all you
here
want,
to
but
be
I do have proof.
controversial to get some laughs from some people, to put other people down.
He's gonna do a Martin Luther King speech right now.
Who came
all
in and
you're
insulted
doing- all
somebody?
you're doing
Who
is
came in here and
pushing
insulted
out.
someone? The only person who's insulted anyone all day here, all day, is you.
Okay.
You
I
came
don't- I
in
don't feel
cussing
bad
and
for
yelling
that.
and swearing.
No, because I'm pissed.
I get
This
it.
is serious.
This is serious. I'm a white male.
Get
When
it.
you say there's
This
no
is
f***ing rape culture and you have a proof of that, you say you don't have the
I
statistics.
do have proof and there is no rape
If
culture.
if you're a girl, you don't got to go out. You don't want to put out say, hey, I was raped. You don't want to do that.
That's what he's probably gonna actually get some coochie from this fucking speech too.
You don't want to be raped if you're a girl.
Obviously, we were talking about the statistics.
No, but you said you
You're
don't want to.
saying
You don't
that
want to
there's
go
not
for
a 1 in 5%.
Yeah, there is no rape culture in the United States campus. I don't agree. And the statistics don't reflect that. So if you had proof,
Which statistics are you reading?
the statistics of according to the FBI.
80% of women and 12% of men are raped on college campuses.
Incorrect.
This is the biggest research university, Columbia University statistics.
I would love
Exactly.
for you to come and sit down when you have the microphone, and I would love to talk
Even a professor is just yelling to interrupt.
about that with you.
Look what they teach in college. This is why college is a scam. There's no even the professors are part of this liberal bullshit.
Now you see, this is why. This is not me being rude. Same thing. I gave
you
Chanel. Sorry, Chanel. I apologize. See, she's not going to give me guff for it. She sees it was an easy mistake. I wanted her to have her opportunity to speak. I don't necessarily agree with her, but I would say it was
Chat, this is the definition of a white knight.
very respectful. You were cussing, yelling, coming
Okay,
in
this is not
a
about
little,
cussing.
a little bit
Yeah.
emotional,
Yeah.
and I want you to have your opportunity to speak as well. And so it's disrespectful for her to yell out. We're having a conversation between
I
two
disagree.
people.
This is not about cement. This is not about being like, we're not in a parliamentary system
It's
where
a-
you're not allowed to interrupt and shit like that. This is important.
You're actually allowed
I
to
want
interrupt
ev-
in a parliamentary system. You're talking to someone who comes from
my
Canada. We have a
God.
parliamentary system.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up, dude. Why don't you just crack open a Happy Dad? Shut up, dude.
Fuck up with facts.
the
Thank you very
fuck
much.
up, yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. There you go.
Get the fuck away from me, dude. Bro, this sucks. I hate this interview.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna carry my backpack and my vape and I'm out of here. I'm out of here, bro. Let's watch another one, part 2. I think it's the same day. Male Privilege is a Myth, 2nd edition. Changed my mind. Shout out to Steven Crowder.
It's been said you're kind of racist.
Your white opinion of racism
You're a white male!
doesn't
Racism
really.
is a
What?
Your white opinion of racism doesn't
racism
really.
is a
Your white opinion of racism. How do you not hear the irony in saying that? Like in 3 words.
I'm cool with it. That's a little bit racist. Latest installment of Real Conversations, Change My Mind. The full unedited interview will be coming up soon. I know that's why you
2, 3. Jump with me. Jump us with me. Oh, with me. King, such fun. with me.
Man, this reeks of 20. Oh, this is 2018.
And what are your names?
I'm Hannah.
Hannah?
Maryland.
Hannah and Marilyn. Jared, how did you? Am I good if I? Okay, Hannah and Marilyn. So, it's sort of become this neologism, this idea of male privilege, and I know we talk about it a lot on campus, and I've had some conversations with people on campus today. I don't agree with the premise, but I'm open to having my mind changed.
Okay,
Well, male privilege is definitely a real thing.
Okay.
Our country
was
built by white males, and it was built for.
Who's gonna build it? You? You're gonna build a country? Look at you. You look like a 10-year-old boy.
White males.
Mm-hmm.
That's why women and any minority don't have an equal chance of being in politics. That's why most of our politicians are white males instead of representative of the actual population. That's why gerrymandering exists. That's why redlining exists. White privilege and white male privilege and male privilege is a real thing.
Okay. So I want to make sure.
Chat, do you think male privilege is a myth? I think females have all the privilege in the West, bro.
Have this clear. Do you agree with what?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Okay, sorry. So I'm trying to try and balance this with the both of you. Hope you forgive me if I'm not perfect. So, you believe that this country was founded by white males exclusively?
I don't believe it was. I know it is.
Okay, you know it. Yeah. So, what would you use to substantiate that? A lot of white males obviously came here because Western civilization. People came from Europe. A lot of white males, but that it was founded exclusively for white males. That's what you said. Yeah. How do you?
Male-dominated society.
But that doesn't
society
imply that doesn't necessarily equate to design.
The Constitution originally didn't mention women or black people or anything or minorities or anything. It only
Whitey champion for black people. Look at her black friend letting her fucking get away with that.
mentioned white.
And also look at the Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson fans in the back, bro. You look at his face, man.
Men. It didn't specifically say white, but it said men. They didn't give any minorities the right to anything. We had to fight for that right.
Who's we?
The minorities, women had to, people of...
Cap! First off, Sydney from Ice Age, women are not minorities, they are the majority. 52% of the population, or 51. There's more women than men. Men die more. You're not a minority because you look like Sid. Stop trying to be a victim just because you're a woman.
Color had to, everyone...
Wow, that's incredibly accurate, chat. That's a crazy... I didn't say it, so the chat said it, I just looked it up.
had to, except for white males.
I'm sorry, confused. So you're saying that the Constitution, first off, mentioned only white men. I would say
It didn't say white men, it said men.
Mankind, men. Yeah, this was
yes.
a term, again, this is just sort of a colloquialism, men. The rights were extended to women, you're aware, right?
They weren't extended.
Look at that, they're teaming up. Teaming up to save everybody from white males.
To women. Women had to fight for their rights.
No, women never had to fight for the freedom of speech or Second Amendment.
Well, what do you mean women didn't have to fight?
What do you mean?
Fight for these rights? They literally had marching. Women were hurt for this, like.
For the First Amendment and Second Amendment, women didn't have
For the right to
it?
vote, for the right to not be treated as property.
Okay, so that's interesting that you bring up the right to vote. So you say we fought for it, everyone except for white men.
No, some white men did, but
Some
it was
white men.
mostly women.
So
and
it was
honestly,
mostly women and minorities.
It was mostly white women at first who didn't include black women.
Okay, so who do you believe procured the right for women to vote?
Women fighting for it.
Really?
Yeah, white men wouldn't have gave it to women if they didn't fight for it.
So you believe a majority of women fought, you believe were suffragettes?
No, actually, the majority of women didn't want to vote. They liked their system. It was just a couple dykes who fucking ruined it.
Fought for the right to vote.
I don't know if it was a majority, but I know women did, and we wouldn't have it if those women hadn't stood up for it.
Okay, well, because it seems like we're going through a historical timeline. Historically, that's actually not accurate. The majority of women...
Historically, that is accurate.
So women actually, the majority of women didn't want the right to vote. It was men who
I
gave them the
told
right
you
to vote.
I didn't know if it was the majority, but it wouldn't have happened if women haven't stood up in the suffragist movement and fought
Well, the
for
reason
it.
I'm bringing that up is because you said women and minorities fought for that right, not white men. When the fact is women actually, as a majority, didn't fight for that right. Many of them fought against it. White men fought for that and were the ones who signed that into law.
Whoa! Machine, I'm sorry, E.T. E.T. home. phone to the feminists.
Because of women. They wouldn't have signed it into law if women hadn't made them sign it into law.
But they didn't. The majority of women didn't want it. That's my point. And the reason they didn't want it, by the way, we'll move on from this, was because of the fact that voting came with the draft, mandatory bucket duty responsibilities that were actually not bestowed upon women at that time, and they didn't want the right to vote.
Women don't want to go to war
because it would come with the same responsibilities.
It's
So women got the right to vote, but they didn't have to be a part of the draft or mandatory bucket duty, mandatory firefighting service. So historically, I'm just saying that's actually, it's not really accurate. It paints an inaccurate picture.
I know
which
there
I would
were
disagree.
women. There was an anti-suffragist movement. I know conservative women didn't want the right to vote, but it's because of women that they were given the right to vote. And of course, there's going to be people on each side, but there's going to be women who want to stay in the home. But the whole point of women fighting for it is so they have that choice to stay in the home or go out to vote,
Sure.
or go into the draft if they want to.
Well, I don't think respectfully, you fundamentally have a misunderstanding of the draft. It's
No,
not,
go into
not
war,
voluntary.
not the draft. I don't believe in drafting anyone at all. I don't believe
at
you
the
should
time,
fight
it was
for a
a part
war
of
that
voting.
you
But at
shouldn't.
a time, it was a part of voting. That's my point. My only point here is you said it was a society designed by white men, exclusively for
Yes.
white men, and gave some examples which weren't accurate. So let me bring us to today. What rights are afforded in 2018 to men exclusively that aren't afforded to women?
It's-
And I would like both of you to answer, because I don't want you to just sit there and feel like I don't want to cut you out of this.
No, I think Marilyn's explaining it really well. I just don't think you're understanding her side and how
Okay.
she's saying that it was a two-sided thing. So there are women who want to stay at home and live that life, and there are women who wanted the right to vote, to have their voice heard and their representation.
Sure.
And I think you want to focus on the conservative side that want to stay at home, and she's trying to say,
No, not at
well,
all.
they got the option to stay at home because other women were.
Yeah, and then you know what women do? They shame you if you want to stay at home. They say that you're part of the problem, but it's like, oh, I just want to make some cookies and raise some kids and have a nice family. Do I need to always be protesting and going to war? I'd rather just stay home. This was great.
Were fighting for their right to vote.
No, that's not what I was presenting from my side at all.
Yes, it was.
No, let me clarify one more time then, okay? And I want to make it really clear, not only for you, but for anyone watching. You said this was a society created by white men, exclusively for white men. And women and minorities had to fight for these rights, and you use examples as vote.
Lizzo's not even here. She's just here to be like the token, like, look, I have a black friend, and she's just going to be quiet the whole time.
Voting, and white men didn't. What I am pointing out is that is inaccurate. White men did. Most women didn't want it. So that's a false premise that paints a false. It's a false baseline for today. Because if you say at one point, no, I'm not. I think women should have the right to vote. I'm very glad that we all do. Okay, we can agree on that. What I can't agree with is something that is historically inaccurate. So I'd like to find something we agree on today. What rights today in 2018 are afforded to men that are not afforded to women? I don't believe that there's systemic male privilege today. I'm not saying
There's not. Men, we delete ourselves like 5 times more. We're more of the homicide victims. We make up almost all of the prisoners. We lose all of our money, all of our assets, and our children in divorce court. Women live longer. The only thing that women really have to say, the wage gap is a fucking myth. All they got is catcalling. Men do not have privilege.
I could be wrong. I don't believe it though. And I would like to be convinced, or I'm certainly open to being convinced.
I feel your male privilege is a myth. I feel like
your privilege is like a clouding. Say something. How long do you need to load to say some nonsense?
only white men have that male privilege.
Okay, this is about male privilege, and now is it about white men, or your friend is white? So like, what are y'all talking about?
And that's what the focus should be on.
Okay, so there's
That wasn't the question though, but that's all she knows how to talk about.
no black male privilege.
No.
Okay. We have some black men actually in the audience. Maybe they can come in afterwards. I would be interested to hear their perspective. So white male privilege.
Yes.
Okay. So what systemic white male privilege exists today? What rights are afforded, for example, to white males that are not afforded to black males, or to white males not afforded to black females? Let's divide everyone by race and gender at this point.
In regards to like laws and things like that, obviously the laws aren't like, oh, white men get this privilege and blah 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 blah. So in regards,
I said a smart word.
to like technical terms, it's
To technical society.
as like men, it's laid out by laws really equally. When it comes to the actual systems, there's tons of black men crowding jails for an eighth of weed, while
This is just the only talking point she knows. See, this wasn't about that at all, but that's all she knows how to talk about. So she's just shifting the whole conversation so that she could add a point.
You know, white men have like weed parties and it's cool and that's their thing, but like black men are automatically arrested for it. So that goes into the whole.
What the hell does that have to do with male privilege? This has nothing to do with male privilege. What happens when you go to college, you go to a bunch of fucking woke meetings, you just say this bullshit in a conversation that had nothing to do with it.
Like police brutality argument, but.
So can I ask you that? I've never heard of a weed party.
You see all the Nelk fans right here? Yeah, I can't believe they deleted Steve Will Do It's channel. Fuck YouTube.
You can ask one of them.
Oh yeah, you can ask.
You mean one of the white males?
Probably.
Yeah. No, I don't. It's okay. We'll have someone come in afterwards and they can explain to me a weed party. So, no, genuinely, this is not me being a smart.
Kind of parties fraternity brothers throw.
I'm sure they do, but the premise was the idea, right, that black men are in prison for an eighth of weed. Do you have any statistical data to prove that black men with nothing more than an eighth of weed go to prison?
I couldn't give you the exact statistics, but there's several accounts of it, and it's not unknown. It's pretty much common sense that blacks are way easily more arrested than white men.
Well, apparently it's also been common sense that the majority of women were pushing for the right to vote and that white men didn't support them. So we're trying to deconstruct some of these ideas that people maybe assume are common sense but are factually inaccurate. Now, the truth is men
Look at her Googling facts in the middle of the convo.
as a whole are much more likely to be incarcerated than women. Men as a whole.
Yes, the conversation has nothing to do with race, but
even white men get far more harsh sentencing for the same crime as
Well,
women.
white men are shooting up schools, so I think they should have a harsher punishment.
Well, hold on.
Okay, see that, like, she's like, racism is bad, but I'm gonna say something racist. Like, yeah, it's true what she said, but also don't go on your high horse about racism and then say a racist generalization.
A second. I mean, black.
You know, you give away that right. You give away the opportunity to be racist when you're on your high ground about racism in the first place. Stupid.
Black. Hold on, but hold on a second. But black men are shooting each other in record numbers as well. That's not really relevant to the point.
You were asking for the facts, and they're right here.
Let me see.
Here's the facts.
Okay, so hold on one second.
Ugh, they're smart. Yeah, you asked for the facts, and here's the facts right here. I heard this beer has a little more hops to it.
From the NAACP, you said for an eighth of. I want to make sure we're really clear here. You said white men are having weed parties, and a black man with an eighth of weed will be incarcerated in a federal prison. So what I have here is your source from the NAACP.
I mean, there's multiple.
From the NAACP, in 2014, African Americans constituted 2.3 million, or 34%, 64% of the correctional population. Okay, African Americans are incarcerated at more than 5 times the rate of whites. Now, nothing here at all involves behaviors or crimes committed. I'm trying to look for anything in here that
But here's the facts. Haha, here's my phone that has info.
relates to black people being sentenced simply for an eighth of weed. So this is from the NAACP. That would be as biased of a source as you could use.
Bias. What?
But I don't see it. I don't see it. Show me, give me, I would like to see, I would be very open to hearing the statistical reality. I'm not trying to be confrontational. I would like to hear that stat. I think it's horrible. I don't think anyone should
Now she's gonna Google for the next 10 minutes instead of engaging in the conversation.
be arrested for an eighth of weed or put in jail. I think we can agree on that, right?
No, I agree.
Whether they're white or black.
Yeah.
I don't think white people should be shooting up schools, whether they're white or black.
Yeah. Well, I definitely agree.
Obviously, welcome to listen to whatever's happening over here. You need to do that. But we're going to have a conversation over here about campus climate, sexual assault, and...
Why don't you...
Just interrupt so that you could just ruin the dialogue.
I'm just saying that we're going to be over here.
Shut up, male feminist. Yeah, we're gonna be over here where it's a safe space and we're gonna say the stuff that you already agree with.
Great, thank you. I'll come over and talk with you guys too.
This is where it counts.
Okay, so let's assume that will. And sorry, I hope you're still comfortable. I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable.
No, it's fine.
I feel this has been respectful, and you've been very polite. So again, the systemic differences we're talking about, men, period, are more likely to be incarcerated than women.
Yeah.
Men are more likely to be physically assaulted than women. So we're getting into this. First off, this is data. But when we get into the anecdotal that, well, white men tend to have it better because they can walk around and have weed parties, that's not necessarily accurate. So particularly when we're discussing
No,
an
it's
issue
not, but
as sensitive.
That's just a talking point that she read on Twitter, like, white males just go to weed parties, but 1 in 3, you're just saying tweets. Haven't you heard that before? Even at 28, like, this is just echoing shit that she read online. But she's gonna sit there and be smug the rest of the time, and Chicken Little's gonna look at her phone, and they're not even gonna listen to the conversation. They don't want to change their mind.
As race, gender, and systemic oppression or inequalities. Don't you think it's really important that we get that correct and the premise correct before we go off and divide people by these subcategories?
Yeah, but I think there's tons of statistics out there already, and even if you don't want to look up the statistics, it's not hard to see how many black men are in jail at larger rates than white men.
Do black men commit crimes at a higher rate than men?
Definitely not. That's
No.
just not true.
No?
No.
That is true, but they're also in worse circumstances to commit crimes than white people.
No, so black men do not commit crimes at a higher rate than white males?
No.
Okay. Do you have statistics that would reflect that?
I mean, I'm sure I could look them up, but it's definitely not true. It's because racism is built into the system. That's what the system is built against blacks, and that's what racism is. That's why there are more blacks in prison.
Okay. Well, it seems like we've gotten away from male privilege, now we've gotten to black-white. But I'll go with that if you'd like to. And I don't disagree that there have been horrible instances of racism in this country, including, by the way, in Canada and, of course, in Europe, the British Empire. And by the way, I hope you understand I'm certainly not a slavery or racism apologist. I think that's bad. I think racism is bad. But you just mentioned that, well, someone else...
I don't think so. You must be a racist, you white male.
Also, just earlier was saying that I was okay with rape, which I'm not, simply because I believe there needs to be proof for rape. So I think racism is...
Believe all women. Wrong.
Bad. If we can all agree that racism is bad, you say the systems are racist and set up. Okay. What systematic racism do we have today, then, in that case?
The system...
Dodge the question.
The system is built against...
Just say the same thing you said 5 times already.
Well, it all goes back to slavery. Colored people of color, sorry, have never been...
Careful!
Oh, whoa! Colored people! McLovin! I thought you were an ally! I thought you had a black friend! Colored people's crazy!
Careful,
Wow.
colored people, it's people of color. One's racist, one's okay now.
Yes, people of color is the correct term. People of color have never...
Racist in the chat, bro. Man, licking little.
Been given an equal opportunity. They've never been given the equal opportunity for jobs because after racism was abolished.
After racism was abolished?
Came segregation and then Jim Crow and separate but equal. So
She just came straight from Diversity Club, straight from Woke Debate Club, and just came right into this interview.
people of color have never been given the same opportunity as white people, which is why it's been built into the system.
In 2018, do you believe that's true?
Yes, it's still.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you a question? You're here at did you go to TCU?
Yes.
At TCU, do you know if there is any affirmative action, for example, grants exclusively given to people of African American heritage?
I'm not sure if we have in place affirmative action, but I know we do have the chancellor's, what is it called?
The community scholars?
Community scholars, yeah, which is put in place to help get minorities into college.
Right. So so there are grants and scholarships. I think we would agree across this country for minorities. Yeah.
And those wouldn't have to exist if it wasn't the system.
Chad, I had scholarships to school because I'm like 5 minorities in one. I definitely had an easier time because I'm this blend of whatever. I could check off 6 boxes. No, I had some advantages being a minority today. And I also think that white people aren't able to accurately voice their opinion now because they're so quickly labeled as a racist. I could just say the same shit that this guy's saying, but they'll immediately just assume he's racist. But hey, I'm every race. You can't call me racist. I could bob and weave so many allegations, man. That's why they call me an incel.
No.
But will we not say that's...
Equal, then those scholarships.
Affirmative action is racist, chat. That's a racist act.
Exist, which is why we have to have those scholarships.
So these, I just want to make sure that I understand these scholarships correctly because I don't attend the school. So these are, you said it's the community grant for is that what it's called?
Community scholar.
Community scholar, and this is exclusively for minorities to try and get them on campus.
Exclusively for minorities. There is.
It's majority minorities, but you can be any race and get this scholarship.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something specifically to the school.
Yeah.
Mostly if you come from a low.
Chat, by the way, you should clip this up. This is going to definitely go viral on TikTok. And if you want to learn how to do it, Creator Kit just dropped. Link in the description. Stop just scrolling. We can start monetizing this shit too. It was taken down yesterday by haters, but it's back up. This course will teach you everything about it. This is all I know how to do. It's good information in here. I finally released it. It was a lot of work, but yeah. Link in description. Creator Kit. I'm fucking with it. TheCreativityKit.com.
Lower economic standpoint.
From a lower economic standpoint. Okay. Are there or are there not grants, for example, or laws in place, we know affirmative action, that would be granted exclusively toward minorities? It seems in this case this one may not, but are you aware that those exist on campus?
Yes.
Okay. So when you say minority, that would be excluding people who are not minorities for this grant or scholarship, correct?
Yes.
Is that discriminatory?
No, because it's fighting against the system of racism.
Well, I'm not asking about the system of racism. I'm asking is, by definition, is that discriminating against groups of people for this grant?
No.
Yes. That's exactly what affirmative action is.
What is the definition of the word discrimination?
You can only discriminate against colored people. I mean, Negroes. I mean.
Okay. I would venture it would be something along the lines of discerning or excluding certain parameters or qualities from a given opportunity.
Unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, or sex.
Okay.
Exactly. But white people can't even speak their mind anymore. White people in the chat, type a 1 right now if you feel like you can't properly voice your opinion because they'll immediately call you alt-right. Immediately. You can't even be a conservative white dude. Immediately you're a Trump supporter, you're racist, you're a Nazi. It sucks. It sucks, but yo, the amount of privilege I have just being a fucking blend, whatever the fuck, it's great, bro. It's great.
So excluding people based on race.
It says unjust or prejudicial.
This is from Merriam-Webster.
It's from...
I told you she was just gonna be Googling the whole time.
Okay.
Look how many ones there are in the chat, bro. White people don't really have the same freedom of speech. It sucks, bro. It is what it is. But there's a reason I can be so all these streams every day because it's harder to cancel me.
Here, I appreciate it. So the point is there's discrimination occurring there. Is there anything like that for white students?
Unjust. That's not unjust because it's making it equal for minorities.
It's making it equal?
Yes, because they don't have an equal chance in our society.
In our society! But I look like McLovin and I'm a white girl championing for colored people. Shut up. I don't want you. I don't need you to tell me. I don't need you to help me out. Go get a fake ID.
I have an equal chance to get to TCU.
What do you think we're trying to explain to you right now? What have we been talking about this whole time?
That's the whole point of her silent ass Lizzo friend right here. She hasn't said nothing. She's just there to be like, look, I have a black friend so I can champion for coloreds.
I'm looking at several black people here who've made it to TCU.
Several black people? I'm looking at a sea of white. I don't know what you're looking at.
I guess you're a figment of our imagination. Well, hold on a second. Sorry, you're Asian, so I guess you don't count because there are too many of you.
That is a sea of white faces, though. This is Nelk Boy's target demographic right here.
You on campus.
Jack, every single person here has a full send poster in the room. Saturdays are for the boys!
I'm saying I'm looking at many. There's a guy biracial right here. No, listen, there have been people coming in and out. The point is, many of these people disagree. They believe they can get into school. They don't believe there's systemic discrimination.
More white people that can get in, so there's more white people.
There are more white people in this area of town, and we've gotten away from male privilege. We talked about white privilege versus black privilege. Isn't that what we're talking about? Or people of color. It's people of color. Is that the term you prefer?
Sure.
Well, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, white guy, whatever. Yeah.
I know some people prefer black, some people prefer people of color. I would like to go back to the idea of male privilege. I still haven't heard a right afforded, or same thing with race. I still haven't heard a right
Who does she look like?
afforded to someone who is a white male not afforded to say a black female. I think that's pivotal if we're going to talk about systemic discrimination. Sorry, my knee touched you. I apologize. I meant nothing by it. I just have wide legs. But we don't agree that that's...
KOD said, what do you honestly think is the end goal of woke people is? Or is it just too much of a bot thing to even think ahead? They just like, yeah, they like feeling right. It's just a moral goodness thing. It's like, I'm right and I'm better and I'm fighting against the system, but they don't realize how dumb they are. The system is telling them to think this stupid shit. So look at how they sit here with their smug faces on, saying stuff that they're told is correct. And they don't want to challenge it. They just like feeling right. That's what woke people are. It's, you're on the wrong side of history, white man.
Pivotal if we're going to say there is systemic discrimination that needs to be rectified.
And chat, stop saying it's a scam. It's a one-time payment. Everything nowadays, the Creativity Kit, creativitykit.com, thecreativitykit.com is a one-time payment, and you'll learn everything about how to go viral on TikTok, bro. I don't even have a TikTok account. I got 1.2 billion views, 1.4 billion views on #SNEAKO. I just had 1 million followers today on TikTok. I don't even have TikTok. I'll teach you how to do it. Teach you how to make money off of it. Stop scrolling and start monetizing, man.
We would need to be able to find in 2018 at least one example of systemic discrimination.
Okay. How many of our presidents have been white and male?
The last one was black.
One. Out
Yeah.
of 45. 1 out of 45.
And I would argue he was terrible.
I would. I would definitely not argue that. I'd argue Obama was one of our best presidents.
Okay.
Why was Obama one of our best presidents, though?
That's fine. And isn't it wonderful you can have that opinion, right? You can have that opinion and I can have my opinion, but wouldn't that be proof that there are no more barriers to entry if a black man made it to the highest office in the land?
There's a study by, I forget what his name is.
Relax.
Does she seem nervous?
No, him. He needs to relax.
Oh, he needs to relax. What did he do?
I mean, she's trying to get her point across. He just needs to let her say it.
W.
And
Dunham.
it'll be fine.
There's lots of countries where they elected one minority president and then went all the way back to electing all white presidents. They say they're
Careful, because you're treading on some ground that could make you sound very racist here, and I don't think you're aware of it.
Maryland's not going to come across racist.
Ah, look at her. I'm the token black friend. She's good. She's one of the good ones. That's her only purpose here. Like, look, vouch.
Some of what's been said here kind of racist.
Your white opinion of
Some of what's been said here kind of racist.
your white opinion of racism doesn't
racism
really
is a system.
compare.
Your white opinion of racism doesn't matter. How does she not hear how dumb that is? How are you racist while accusing someone of being racist?
That's kind of, that's a little, I'm cool with it. That's a little bit racist.
Okay, I just want to get out here that reverse racism isn't real. I know you're all going to yell at me.
No, listen, I would never use the word
Reverse racism is stupid. That just means racism against white people. Like, oh, you can't be racist to white people. You absolutely can. That's the definition of racism, bro.
Saying your white opinion of racism doesn't matter is not reverse racism at all.
No,
it's
not
racism.
that it doesn't matter. It's just, it doesn't compare.
Okay.
Okay. So it's better or worse? What are you trying to say?
How so?
These dumbass people will just try to use racism to fight racism. How dumb is that? You're never going to come to a conclusion. That's what I'm saying. The donor before, they don't want equality. They just want a power trip.
Like, you're trying to tell her what she's saying is racist. That's
No, I said it could come across racist saying they never vote in another black president again. How people don't ever vote back. You know, that could come across as racist.
How?
Because of such a poor performance from a black president would be the implication.
But his poor performance is like your opinion.
Exactly, it is my opinion. And it was the opinion of many, many millions of Americans who voted in an old white guy, unfortunately, over a woman. Sorry, maybe we'll have a female president next go around. I'd gladly vote for a female president. I actually was a Carly Fiorina guy. I really liked her. I think she would have made a fantastic
Thanks, Mikey.
But I do find it interesting right here where you just said that
No, Carly Fiorina would have been a terrible president.
your white opinion isn't comparable. I don't. The word comparable is interesting to me. Why would you use that choice of words?
Because what is your understanding of racism in comparison to somebody who's a person of color?
I'm a victim.
We're both human beings with opinions on an issue.
Yeah, but you play into the system and we're trying to fight against it. So
Oh, come on. You're just sitting there with the white girl saying that you're trying to fight the system. What the fuck are you talking
Why
about?
How would you know that I play into this? How do I play into the system?
you're a conservative Republican. Like, you
You
don't.
don't know anything about me.
You're sitting here saying that male privilege is a myth,
Yeah.
and that rape culture isn't a problem on U.S. campuses.
And so you just said I am a part of a system which you just declared racist. You said I'm an active part in a racist system. That's
You're part of the problem, white man.
a really terrible thing to say about somebody.
Well, is it
It's true.
untrue?
Yes.
No, it's not.
Then prove it.
Well, you want me to prove? Okay, you want me to disprove your prejudicial statement based on my race? Let me give you my best shot.
Okay.
I'm actually a French Canadian, or an English Canadian who was raised in French Canada. Are you aware of the language police?
No.
Okay, so let me talk to you about a little bit about discrimination. We're actually not allowed to attend English schools. We're not allowed to open a restaurant with an English sign if there's an apostrophe S. They thought I was disabled until the 4th grade because I was forced to go to French schools and learn math, geography, and history in French by law, because if you are born in Quebec, you have to attend French schools. This comes from a theory they call pure laine, which means pure wool.
Yo, he was ready for that answer right there, guy. Woo!
Pure European French blood wool. And so this is actually something that's enforced by the language police. Where I grew up, they thought I was learning disabled as an English Canadian, being forced to go to public Catholic schools at a Protestant English-speaking Canadian, and they thought I was learning disabled until the 4th grade. I lived in an 82 Datsun for several months.
He said all of that shit, and she's still not going to change her opinion. And this goofy McLovin girl's still on her phone looking up stats.
As I tried to make something of myself and dropped out of college and moved to the United States when I was 18 years old. So I certainly wouldn't say that I'm someone who's been raised in the lap of white American Republican privilege. By the way, there are no Republicans in Quebec. There are only liberals and liberal separatists.
None of what you said had to do with racism or anything.
It had to do with discrimination, with prejudice.
Okay.
I would say there's an English-speaking...
But you're still a white man in this society, so you're good. Your privilege is safe.
I would say this, and you're not going to like this, but I would say a white male, regardless of white, male, black, I would say white-speaking English Canadian living, being raised in French Canada, yes, would face much more systemic oppression than you here on college campus.
Really? So it's easier being you, a white person in America, than me, a white person?
No.
Half-white person in America.
You're a half-white person in America? No, I was talking about my upbringing because you said you're playing into the system. You're a white male conservative Republican.
Yeah, I don't care about
What if
the
I were
background.
what if I were a white
What? You don't care about your background? You just labeled him with the background.
male Democrat?
Look at this bitch in the back like, what the fuck is this? What is she talking about? But nowadays, like, she can have all the opinion. Everybody will just sit there and listen on a college campus because she's like half black, the token minority, while everyone else is part of the problem. And she's gonna walk around like, look at these white privilege, white privilege, white privilege.
What if I were a transgender
Then I would hope that you
Democrat?
would be fighting the system.
What system?
And trying to
We've said
change
this-
it.
what system?
The systematic racism
What's
in
systematic
America.
racism? I just need one example of
Police
systematic
brutality.
Okay, police brutality. No,
I mean-
listen, ignore them. We're just having a conversation. And the peanut gallery doesn't matter. Okay, it's okay. I'm not laughing at you. I'm not being disrespectful.
No,
today.
I
I don't
get it.
associate
I
me with
get
them. I'm just saying I want to just keep it here so that it's not fair if there's a pile on, and I want everyone to take their turn. So I appreciate it. Police brutality. That's interesting. Again, with the sign is about male privilege, but you seem to really focus on the race issue. So let's talk about police brutality. How is that? So the example of the system that you say I play into here proactively in America, police brutality is an example of systemic discrimination, white male privilege.
Yes.
How so?
Because black men are killed at traffic stops, black women included. I mean, there are unjust killings in jail that mysteriously, these men kill.
She has a GoFundMe link in her bio for Black Lives Matter and doesn't realize that all the money's going to a white dude. She's one of those.
Young black men and then walk free. Like, your life and your privilege is fine, but black people are dying.
So you believe that it's okay, it's legal to kill an innocent black male, and it's happening in record numbers
Yes.
because we're white?
Not because you're white, but because the system is racist.
What if I were to tell you that statistically that's untrue?
Then I would want to know the statistic.
Yeah, what if I would tell you that actually white males are more likely to be shot by police?
Okay, why wasn't the Florida shooter shot dead then?
Well, we're getting into the anecdotal.
Okay.
So statistically, empirical data would say that actually white males are more likely to be shot by the police.
Okay. But I just completely disagree
Yeah, but that's kind of weird because there's way more white guys than black guys.
with that, and I don't know where your statistic is coming from.
Okay. Well, I think we have some other people who would like to discuss, but
Okay.
if you disagree with the statistics,
Why is she still on her fucking... Get off your phone, Sid from Ice Age. You've been bending over your head looking at stats, not listening to the convo the whole time.
we have them up on the website. I think it's horrible if anyone is shot, an innocent person
Yeah.
shot by the police.
No,
I think we
totally.
use better training with a lot of police officers. De-escalation,
Absolutely.
I think that should be used with white or black people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one thing, if I may, because, sorry, did I step on your foot?
No, you're fine.
Oh, there's a walnut here. One thing, if I may, if the goal is to have a conversation, I really do want to have a conversation, I've tried to be respectful. Just as I'm sure you would probably be more defensive or less capable of having a civil dialogue with someone if they said, well, you can't possibly understand because you're a black woman, you don't know anything about this. I'm sure right away you might say, well, hold on, what do you mean by that? Coming into a conversation with someone where you don't have empirical data or evidence, I've presented some, you've disagreed with some.
She just said tweets the whole time.
You haven't presented much of your own, but saying that someone's opinion simply isn't comparable
Chat, stop putting wells! She's a queen!
because they're a white male, A, is not a valid argument. I hope that's not one that's taught as okay in college, and it's also not something that's going to convert anyone to your way of thinking. You know, the idea is to change my mind. I will tell you, I appreciate you sitting down and doing it, but that is probably the least effective way to enter a conversation if you're looking to change someone's mind, to say you're wrong or you don't know because you're a white male. So I would hope that moving forward that maybe you might reconsider your tact, because you seem like you seem very much like a nice lady. I don't think you're aware of that, but it shuts down dialogue before it begins as opposed to encouraging it.
She was
Well, that's all they want to do, is just shut down the dialogue. They're not open to free speech. The leftists and woke people are just the least tolerant group of people I've ever heard before. They just want to sit there, be right, shame you, shut it down, and they're happy if you get hurt. They don't want to hear another side. They think they're so right internally. They're so vindicated by their moral that, bro, they don't even know how to have open dialogue, bro. Freedom of speech is dead.
I think, I'm not going to say what she was trying to say, but I'm going to say I think what she was trying to say is you don't understand what it is like to be oppressed because you are.
You're a white, they talk about oppression, white girl. Shut the fuck up. You're gonna talk for fucking minorities because you have a black friend, a half black friend? Shut up.
White males are not oppressed.
Yeah.
Yes, they are actually. Yeah, they are. White men are like probably the saddest group in America right now.
First off, I'd like her to explain her position.
No,
you don't
I
need to
agree
explain
exactly
it for
with
her.
what Marilyn said.
It seems a little like, what do we call it, white-splaining?
I told her, I said I think this is what she was trying to say. That's why I didn't say I think this is what she said.
But do you not believe that she can articulate? I don't want her to feel as though she's being misrepresented.
I
I'd like her to
don't.
articulate her own thoughts.
I feel totally fine. I agree with what Marilyn said, and that was what I was saying.
Let me ask you this.
They team.
Because we've talked about data, we've talked about the facts, which you said you don't have in front of you, but let's not take my word for it. So you just said...
Chat, she's brave. Stop putting burgers in whales. She's brave.
White men can't know what it's like to be oppressed. Do you believe that as an emphatic, factual statement that there are no white men in this country who could know what it's like to be oppressed, or maybe haven't had some hard breaks?
They've had hard times, but they're definitely not oppressed.
Okay. That's fair. I appreciate it.
And she will never change her mind. Look at that smug look on her face. Meow. Meow.
I would disagree. I think everyone has privilege in different facets. And I think on campus, I think women and people of minority people have privilege that the average white male here probably doesn't.
What privileges do we have that they don't?
Scholarships, grants, the ability to shout people down, tell them they don't have a right to an opinion because
freedom of speech. That's one thing they got.
Because they're a white male.
We got, yeah, I got freedom of speech. White people don't.
I would never even dream of telling either of you that your opinion is invalid because you're a woman, you're black. No, that's not.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Exactly. There you go. There you go. Stop talking. Stop talking. But she wouldn't say that shit to me because I could just be like, shut up, white bitch. Shut the fuck up. Whitey, you got privilege. She'd be like, well, I'm sorry, I'm part of the problem. But she feels totally comfortable saying, stop talking, stop talking, stop talking, because he's a white guy.
Not allowed. You're not allowed to tell me to stop talking. Sorry. If I were to do that, you'd say that that's white male privilege. So I appreciate it. The conversation is kind of over. It's not going anywhere. Thank you. It's over. Thank you.
How are we given scholarships that all these other people didn't have the right to get? We earned that. We were in the top of our class. That's how we earned those scholarships. We were smart. We were smarter than them. That's how we earned them.
Well, then what? Then let's just great. I think everyone on here is on board with scholarships for the smartest people in any class, male, female, black, or white. I don't think race or sex should even come into the equation. So good, we agree. We found common ground. Thank you very much. Now, like you said, she just sort of, I guess, claimed the mantle of. Was not something that we had in my mind. Oh, let me. You know what? Could you sit down for a second? Sure.
Hey, token black guy. One black dude here. Diversity in the house, bro.
Token black guy.
This is what we're like. Everyone here right now, when they talk about slavery, they do this. So slavery in class, and then just like the one black dude sitting there. Oh shit. Fuck. All the white people. Tyrone, do you want to speak about your experience with racism? Oh fuck. Oh god. Oh my god. Look at that. This is the worst situation to be in.
I'm joking.
Only Nelk Boys fans around.
What's your name, man? Sean. All right, Sean. So Sean, I find this. Do you agree with what was just stated there as a black male?
No.
Okay, you didn't even have to think about it. With what part do you disagree?
Well, first off, the statistics about like black crime and police brutality overly affecting black males. I mean, we have to look at crime statistics. So yes, black males are overrepresented in prisons, but black males are also overrepresented in crime statistics. So black males are like what, like was it like 6% of the 6 or 7% of the population?
Right.
Chad, who does he look like?
6% of the population, because black females are 7% of the population.
I think as total it's somewhere around 13.
Yeah, total is 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you take all that into account, then you have to consider, okay, so why are they overrepresented in crime? And the reason why, I mean, in my opinion, it's a lot of it is economic, a lot of it is cultural, a lot of it is the opportunities available in their areas, and people can make the argument that it's because of white oppression. I don't necessarily think it's because of white oppression. I think it has a lot to do with the welfare state. I think it has a lot to do.
Well, the welfare state is because of white oppression. Like Steven Crowder's taken the side. Like there's definitely a lot of inequality that happened still as a result of slavery that he's not trying to point out. And the fact that he doesn't think that there is white privilege. There is white privilege.
With democratic policy.
WL chat. I'm jacking this. There's very clear white privilege.
And liberal policies, pushing agendas upon black people instead of giving them agency and allowing them to make their own decisions.
She left. I was hoping that she would actually hear what you have to say here. Let me ask you, do you attend TCU?
I do.
How did you get in?
I spent 9 years in the Air Force and got a scholarship, 4-hour scholarship.
Thank you for your service. Appreciate it. And what are you studying?
Psychology and philosophy, so I'm actually on the
psychology on the liberal arts side, yeah. Well, listen, if you make less than a civil engineer, don't blame it on a white-black thing. You chose a degree that's kind of rough.
I just want to enjoy my career, whatever it is.
There you go. Well, listen, that sounds like something that would be, especially after 8 years in the Air Force?
9 years.
9 years. Jeez. Sorry, look, someone's like, 9. Yeah. Get it right.
He already won the crowd over, bro. He's not going to say anything wrong now.
So you were in the Air Force, this is what got your scholarship. Do you believe that your path was more difficult to TCU exclusively because of your race?
No, I don't think it's because of my race. I think it's because, I was raised by a single mother. My dad left when I was really young.
Sorry.
My mom had to work really hard to, just get me through school. I made really poor decisions early on in life, and the military was really the only way I could go. And honestly, I learned a lot in the military. I got a lot of, I learned responsibility. I learned taking responsibility for my own actions, and I learned agency.
I'm just one dirty motherfucker. I play myself in more than you. It's what Apple rub myself right there with codeine in my.
And taking pride in myself.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hard. Yeah.
How do you feel about? I'm not exactly.
Wow, he looks exactly like Isaiah Rashad, bro. Exactly.
I'm not totally aware of the scholarships specifically to TCU, but I think everyone is well aware of, and we can agree that there are scholarships obviously afforded exclusively to minorities or women not afforded to, say, the white male. Yeah. How do you feel about that as a black man? Do you think that helps?
No. Actually, we were just talking.
As a black man.
About this. Actually, I was.
With the Asian, you can't talk with him. They're over. They'd be dominating every math and science department there is.
So I just came from California.
Well, Chad, you know that now Harvard and schools like that specifically make it harder for Asians to get in because there's just too many Asians. Asians are dominating in math so much. They're like, oh my God, there's too many Kevins. Kevin's got to go. We got to let some other people in. Like they give the standards lower for other races because Asians, they just come in straight from China. fresh off the boat and just dominate and just kill everybody on the SATs. Like, there's just too many Kevin Lees in here, man.
The Bay Area.
Got to build a wall around their neighborhood just so we can keep some people getting degrees, for crying out loud.
Now he's doing stand-up. This is not even a convo.
Asian privilege.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I just came from the Bay Area in Silicon Valley, and I mean, you see there.
Yeah, I just came from Silicon Valley, and I'm the token black guy. But yeah, I just was like surfing and just went to Air Force and just like, dude, you just got to just do it.
Like, Asian prosperity is huge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're doing really well, and like, good on them. And I think, like, honestly, if the black culture adopted a lot of those tenets of like Asian culture and like, hey, suck it up. Like, go out there and get it and do it yourself.
Just go out there and get it. It's just like, I'm from the Bay, and just like, but now I'm like the only black guy here. But really, it's just like, I don't really see color at the end of the day. Just like chill with my boys. I just like to have a couple beers, and you know, I don't really just like to look at that because, you know, at the end of the day, it's just how we all are.
And like, it was interesting, like a lot of rappers supported Trump. And they said the reason why is because they said, you know, that's what Trump is about. He's like, go out there and get it, make your money. Do what you have to do to make your money.
Right.
And I think, like, that's, you know, people talk about that, but they don't really go out and do it. And, like, there's not a lot of talk about different ways.
No, they don't really just go out and just go do it, but you just got to go do it.
And diversifying your means of income.
Yeah.
There are a lot of opportunities out there if you just go out there and look for them and get it. And honestly, like, people are willing to give black people opportunities.
Well, I'm sure, here's the deal. I understand that there are racists out there.
Oh, yeah,
and I think it's kind of like, you know, a child who just misbehaves so often, you have to discipline them. You kind of see this with the left. Like, if a child behaves well, okay, you don't have to correct them all the time. But when the left constantly just divides by race and by gender, then you have to bounce back and say, well, hold on a second, no, that's actually inaccurate. The truth is, it kind of bars us, it robs us of our ability to be empathetic to someone saying, yeah, you know what, I'm sure you get some tough breaks as a black guy, because we're constantly being told you can't understand and you've gotten everything because you're a white guy. I think it actually burns more bridges than it builds.
Yeah, I agree.
He sounds like Drewski's impression of a white guy.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
No, like, I agree wholeheartedly.
I mean, what do you think Asians think when they're saying you're too much? They're actually that, you know, they only allot a certain amount of Asians in certain programs. I'm sure you're aware of this.
I punished 3 to 5 ACT points, you know, 0.5 GPA going into college. Like, I applied to USC. Me and my friend did.
That dude blinking hard as fuck.
He's African American, I'm white. I'm Asian. Basically had the same exact demographic.
Because I was taking like the SATs, and it's just it's not really just fair because
you forgot.
I grew up in white America, and I had a 32 and a 4.5, and he had a 27 and like a 3.8. He got it, and I didn't get in. And we had basically the exact same everything else, just because he was African American, I was Asian, and I got penalized because of my privilege, because I was overrepresented like academic scholarship.
Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, here, if you want to come up, no, you can stay here.
Hey, another token minority, pull up.
Well, let's get all
the minorities in here. Look, I'm not racist.
Buddy cop, like a buddy cop film.
Yo, W Rush Hour.
What was your name, sir?
David.
David, sorry, my hands are freezing. Hold on, the lips aren't blue.
These two guys make me no homo. Sorry about that.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that about your ACT scores and how your friend who was African American got in and you didn't. This is one thing that I've always, and I'm glad we finally, look, we can bridge this racial divide. It's like the black and white cookie, Seinfeld. When you think about that, right, they start locking Asians out because you guys do very, very well academically. Yeah. What do you think that does to the relationship between Asian Americans and black Americans? That's always a concern of mine. I mean, the same thing with white Americans, but particularly, listen, I grew up in Canada, and
that's me, Young Don, and Luke Belmar.
I'm not gonna lie, a lot of Asians behind closed doors, a little bit racist in Canada. I'm sure there's some of that here too. It seems like it would strain relationships, not really bring people together.
Yeah, I know that, like, because like the Asian culture is very academics first, like academics advocates, like with the whole shaming your family kind of like concept you see with like white culture,
right?
Like white media, like they talk about why you're not doctor yet. That comes like kind of like stuff.
Yeah, actually, all 3 of them make me. I forgot I'm part white too.
Which is actually can be very true. So like, cause like, and I know in the African American, especially in the inner cities, like academic excellence and achievement is very shunned upon, especially with like the gangs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that creates a big divide, especially on like the end.
Imagine this is like just combine these 3 heads and that's how you get me, chat. You think I'm Mexican? No. Look, can't you see it? Can't you see these 3 combining to make no homo? But that's me.
Ethnic, like for sure, like the top 4 ethnic groups in America, like the top earners are all Asians, Indians, like Japanese, Thai.
Yeah.
And the bottom tiers are African Americans and Hispanics. And I think it's just it's not because of the systematic racism in America. I think it's all culture. Well, like he said, like his dad left. I'm really sorry about that. But like the African American single motherhood rate during the civil rights movement was what, like 13-15%, depending on the city, whereas now it's upwards of 70-80% in the inner cities, and that's not because of racism from white people. That's because of the shift in culture in the inner cities.
Let me ask you, do you agree with what he's saying there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah, I actually do agree. Scott do with the bigotry of expectations. All right, Chad, I want to watch another one now. The three me's are boring me. I want to see some conflict in here. But quick, the Creator Kit. Creator Kit just dropped, thecreativitykit.com. I'm going to teach you the secrets of how to become an online entrepreneur, how to become an online creative. Even if you don't want to be a YouTuber, I can teach you how to edit. We're going to teach you everything, how the algorithm, clickbait. I work for Mr. Beast, bro. I've been doing YouTube for 9 years, getting canceled and staying true to myself. There's everything in this course. There's a lot of videos. It took a lot of work. Thecreativitykit.com. It's a one-time payment. It's only a one-time payment. It's not monthly. You just pay once and then you get it for life. But even if you pay for once, it continues monthly. I'm going to continue adding videos. We have monthly Discord calls. I want to build a community of these people. And if you want to start going viral on TikTok, bro, I got 1.4 billion views on #SNEAKO on TikTok. I just hit 1 million views on TikTok. I don't even know how. I don't even have the app. I don't even have TikTok. I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to teach you how to get in on this. Stop scrolling, start monetizing, bro. You spend all day on your phone, bro. You might as well start making money off of it. You might as well start getting involved in the online creator space, bro, because that's where all the money is in the future. Oh, let me get another Red Bull. Hold on. Yeah, Creator Kit.
That's it.
Your job?